Okay, let's talk about group 14 vocabulary. So, if you were to acquiesce, that means you would give in, you would yield, you would surrender, you would no longer fight. If you were adroit, you would be a skilled person. You would have deft. Deft would be a synonym of adroit. So, if you're an adroit piano player, for example, you're very skilled. To amend something means to revise or to add something, typically to a document. So, for example, you can amend a contract. Think about the Constitution, the amendments, those were added later, later on in the history of the United States. Animus means hostility, like you might have hostility between two people, animus between two people. An apologist really doesn't have anything to do with an apology. An apologist is a supporter to an excessive degree, like a defender. No matter what the person does, that person will always support you, regardless of bad behavior. Astringent, don't be confused with the word stringent, which means strict. Astringent means like bitter or caustic or kind of harsh. It might relate to somebody's prose or somebody's, review of a movie or something. To collaborate obviously means to work together. If you're competent in your job or you're competent, that means you're skilled, you're proficient, you know what you're doing. The opposite would be incompetent. If something is correlated with something else, or if something correlates to something, that means there's some kind of positive relationship or some kind of matching relationship. So, for example, heat correlates with consumption of water. I don't know, kind of a stupid example. To deride somebody means to kind of mock them, to maybe criticize them in a somewhat joking manner, kind of like try to embarrass them. Dictate has a lot of different meanings. You can dictate a speech, which means, someone writes it out for you. But if something dictates something, that means it has kind of like power over it or controls. For example, laws dictate our lives, for example. Of course, a person can dictate other people, a dictator. Discrete, don't confuse this with the word discrete. Those are actually different. So this one on the right means things are separate. This one on the left means kind of subtle or secretive or kind of on the down low, like discrete behavior, for example. Divorced means separate from, like two people get divorced, they separate from each other. Maybe some people are divorced from reality, means kind of like separate from reality. Elitist means to have kind of a superior, smug attitude toward people. Okay, exacting means very demanding. You have to pay attention to a lot of details, kind of like an exacting process or something like that. All right, let's go ahead and scroll down here. So flummoxed means confused, bewildered. You don't know what's going on. Fruitful means likely to produce good results, beneficial. I think studying vocabulary is fruitful for the GRE, for example. Inborn means somebody has it from birth. I think that's pretty obvious. Certain traits are inborn, for example. A polymath, the clue is going to be the word poly, which of course means many. A polymath means somebody who is good or knowledgeable about many different subjects or many different things. Think about Leonardo da Vinci, for example. Reticent means hesitant or shy. Maybe at a party, the person's kind of hanging out on the back of the wall or something. Stringent, which I said don't confuse with astringent, means strict. It means severe. It means, very kind of harsh regulations, that kind of thing. Subservient means that you are willing to let a boss do everything. Like you let the boss be in command. You are subservient to the boss. It can also mean like something is less important. So like this concern is subservient to these other concerns. Surreptitious means secretive, clandestine, covert. So a surreptitious, spy, for example. Tantalizing means it's very attractive, it's very alluring, it's very interesting. We kind of want to get near it. Tantamount means equal to. Something is tantamount to something. That means those two things are equal to each other. Torpor means like lethargy, like you're kind of just sitting around on the couch doing nothing. You kind of have a state of torpor. Trenchant means very incisive. It means have very pithy speech, very short speech, but that kind of cuts straight to the chase and gets to the point and maybe is very witty. Umbrage means anger. Like if you take umbrage with somebody, you're angry with them. Versatile, of course, means various, being good at various things, having various skills, applying to different things. And then finally, wayward, you might think it means kind of like you've lost your way, you're off the beaten path. Not exactly. What it really means is difficult to control or stubborn. Think about like a kindergarten class that's very difficult to control. Think about wayward emotions, emotions that are very difficult to control.